Hello everyone and welcome to another video on the Koastal Klash YouTube channel. What we have for you today is a recap of Phase 2 of the ESL Mobile Open. If you are unfamiliar with what the ESL Mobile Open is, check out my first video, which was the recap on Phase 1, in which I described exactly what the ESL Mobile Open is and how to get involved. If you are interested in the future seasons, as well as gave a recap of our performance in the Phase 1 of the tournament. Now for Phase 2, this was 4 separate days of one bracket played each day, so 4 brackets, 4 days, in which the 32 teams left in the tournament would play down to the winner to determine an average seeding for Phase 3. So the first day of the brackets, we were given the first seed since we were number 1 seed in Phase 1. We beat Oklahoma, we beat Madram, and then we lost to One Hive Team 2 on percent 10-10, and they went on to win the tournament and were given the number 1 seed for the second day of the brackets, in which we were the number 4 seed since we placed top 4. We beat Undying Empire. We then faced Proc USA and beat them, and then we lost to Cog Wars because of a no-show. One of our members fell asleep since it was a late night war. I think it reached about 11 Eastern, but he had school, so yeah, he fell asleep. That was unfortunate, and then Noble Nines went on to win that days of brackets. We'll show day 3 and day 4 in a couple minutes, but before then, I'd like to play some 3-star attacks that we got in Phase 2 of the tournament, as well talking about just overall Phase 2 and what it was. So originally Phase 2 was supposed to be a single elimination bracket in which the top 50% of teams that moved on from Phase 1 would play down to 32 teams. But since Phase 1 only had about 64, 65 teams registered, when the top 50% was taken, there was already only 32 teams left. So what the admins decided to do was a PUBG mobile similar format where they would set up a bracket, 4 different brackets played on 4 separate days, a full bracket played each day, and use that for seeding for Phase 3, which was going to be the double elimination bracket, where the top 2 teams left in that would then go on to DreamHack Dallas. This was a really good idea, other than the fact that I don't know if they were familiar with how long these wars would take. Most of these days took about 6 to 7 hours if you kept winning and to win the whole thing. But other than that, it was really, really fun. Um, it was it was being how long the wars took. There was a few clans that took some of the days off, which didn't really do anything other than hurt your potential seeding. But we decided that we would play all 4 days just to get the best possible seeding to ensure that we would have the best seeding for Phase 3. So day 3 of the bracket, we were placed as the number, I believe, 5 or 6 seed. We faced Madram, who we beat in the first round. The second round, we beat One Hive Team 1. The third round, we faced WHF, and we beat them in. And for the finals, we faced Noble Nines. This was actually one of the hardest days of the bracket since we faced One Hive, Madram, WHF, and Noble Nines. The fourth day, the last day, we beat Oklahoma. We were given the number 2 seed. We beat Oklahoma. We beat Madram again. We faced them a lot throughout this tournament. We beat When Not in Rome, and then we beat Cog Wars, or sorry, Crimson Alliance in the finals. So day 3, like I was saying, was one of the hardest brackets and days that we got through since we faced Madram, who we I think faced for the 6th or 7th time in this tournament alone, up to that point. Then we faced One Hive Team 1, which was of course their better team. As Eric often says, the One Hive Team 2 was considered as the bench team, the benched players, but we beat the main team. That was an really, really hard war. Then we faced WHF, the Juggernauts, and barely beat them. That was one of the close wars in Phase 2. Think they got the first triple, and then we responded with 2 triples back to back to win that war. And then facing Noble Nines in the finals. Noble Nines was also a very, very good clan. gave us a hard time, and we, I think, just edged out the victory on that. Day 4 was also pretty tough since it was the last day. A lot of clans wanted to participate to make sure that they would ensure the best possible seeding going into day or going into the phase 3. So again, we faced Oklahoma, who we beat. We faced Mad Ram again, I believe, for the 8th time. We faced Wenot and Rome, who had they were familiar with all of our bases. They had a lot of them built for themselves. So we had to run some awkward base styles that we didn't really run before. We did end up winning and moving on to face Crimson Alliance in the finals, who we beat. And because of that, we were given the overall #1 seed going into phase 3 of the tournament. Since placing 4th twice as well as winning twice was gave us more points, ranking points, than any other clan had received. I believe there was Noble Nines could have challenged us for the #1 seed, but I believe they took 2 days off of bracket play. They only played 2 days, or they played 3 days, which they got a first, a second, and I believe like a sixth, 8th, or 16th. So they were the only team that could have challenged that first place had they played all 4 days. But still, phase 2 was really enjoyable. Other than just the time, but it was really fun playing each clan in a back-to-back bracket system where the complete bracket was done. Playing the same clan multiple times got pretty old since we would just see the same bases. Many people didn't really build new for phase 2. The builds came out for phase 3 of the tournament, which I'll be recapping in the next video. But yeah, phase 2 was very interesting, to say the least. It was fun, and it ended in us getting the #1 seed going into phase 3. So we were really happy with our performance throughout phase 1 and phase 2. We were the first team to register for this tournament. We ended up as the #1 seed after phase 1, and we also ended up as the #1 seed after phase 2. So we love to see that consistency in our gameplay, and it just leads on to phase 3, and hopefully we can deliver there and book us a ticket to DreamHack Dallas to compete there. But yeah, so as this last attack winds down, if you did enjoy the video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for future content, as well as leave a comment down below if there's anything else you'd like to see, if there's something you're interested in that is currently not being shown on the YouTube channel. But yeah, thank you for watching, and see you next time.